Hey everyone, how's it going? So for today's video, I have something a little bit different, but something I hope you'll really like. And this is what I'm going to call my glitched Magikarp run. Now, basically what this run is I'm going to use glitches, so I'm saying that right off the top, but I'm going to beat all 8 gym leaders with only Magikarp. I'd love to do this with the Elite Four as well, but unfortunately, due to Agatha's ghost Pokemon, and the fact that Struggle is a normal move and Tackle's a normal move, and her Pokemon can't run out of PP, there is no way to beat Agatha with Magikarp. So we're going to be beating the game, don't worry, but we're just going to use more glitches. So this is kind of a not serious fun sort of run. It's more to show off all the interesting glitches of Red and Blue. Well, not all of them, just, a small portion of them actually. And I'm already setting up for one of my first glitches by picking Bulbasaur. So I need to have a Bulbasaur because Bulbasaur can learn 3 moves by level 8, and I need it to be level 8 by the time I hit Pewter City. This means I need to win this fight. Although in some runs this fight is irrelevant, I need to win this fight. This Charmander doesn't make it easy. I mean, it is easy because I get the potion, but it doesn't make it quick because it gets a crit. It uses 6 growls. I get a tackle miss. I'm actually going to get another one in a couple seconds. And just all around annoying. If I were like a speedrunner or something, I'd be pulling my hair out of my head. Well, I'd probably just soft reset, truth be told. But yeah, man, this was really annoying. But thankfully, I don't really care how long it takes. So long as I beat the Charmander, that works for me. Now, you might have noticed, well, you said that was a long fight, but things look to be going really quickly. What kind of software are you using? Well, that's a good question. It actually, isn't the software, it's the hardware I'm using. I'm actually using Pokemon Red, like a cartridge, but I'm using a game pack and an N64 controller to hook it up to Pokemon Stadium 2. And one of the perks of Pokemon Stadium 2 once you beat round 1, which is just like 5 single player components, is that you can play Red, Blue, and Yellow at up to 4 times speed. So I've chosen to do that, and although it does make this seem less authentic, I am using a cartridge, so it is, pretty authentic. But it also makes it much easier to watch, and I'll take, easiness to watch over quote-unquote authenticity any day of the week. Although, the fact I'm using a cartridge does prove that I do care a little bit about authenticity. Emulators are perfectly fine. It's just that I like, I've always used cartridges when I record. I've never really used emulator before, so why would I start? Now, I mentioned being at level 8 specifically, but I need to actually be at level 7 before I fight a trainer I'm going to fight in Viridian Forest. So I just have to KO a couple of these random encounters, and I'm at level 7 and I know Leech Seed. So I'm only going to be fighting one bug catcher in Viridian Forest. There's I think 3 or 4 you can fight, but you can skip most of them, you just have to fight one. Now I should have bought a Pokeball here because I do need to catch another Pokemon. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is using a glitch, and then I'm going to want to somehow get back to Pewter City, and I'll explain that in a second. Now, something you might not know about Viridian Forest is that in the English versions of Red and Blue, and I don't know about Yellow, it's programmed wrong, and a lot of the tiles can't spawn random encounters. I don't think I was walking on the correct tiles for that, but I didn't get any encounters, so that's kind of neat. But it's something you may or may not know. Speedrunners use this all the time because it makes it very unlikely that they'll get a random encounter which they don't want. Now, you might have just seen, I just swapped around the order of my moves. This is really important because I need my moves to have a very specific number of PP in them, in a very specific order. So I need Leech Seed to be first, Tackle to be second, Growl third. I need to have exactly 16 Tackles left, and I need to have exactly 36 Growls. So I'm at level 8, so that works. And now I'm going to try and find a Kakuna or Metapod, because if I want to waste PP without leveling up, they're really useful. And I think I get one on my second encounter. I do. So I need to use, well, I don't need to. It's easier if I use Growl 4 times, let it get a couple Hardens off, or 4 Hardens off to be exact. And hopefully, if I don't get a crit, I'll be able to get off 7 tackles, run away, and I'll be ready to set up my glitch. Actually, almost ready. If I would have caught the other Pokemon I needed, I would have been ready, but it's not a big deal. Anyway, Kakuna gets critted, so all I need to do is get in one more random encounter, use one more tackle. I know it won't faint this Weedle, and now I'm ready to, now I'm ready to start the glitch after I catch the Pokemon. So this is where I forgot I had Pokeball, or remembered I didn't have Pokeballs. So I went to the Pokemon Mart, Unfortunately, I sort of had to cut to that because I did a lot of other things first that were mistakes, so I soft reset it and it just didn't look right when, you wouldn't understood where I was starting from. So I just did a kind of a cut, but don't worry. I promise I didn't cheat. Alright, so Pidgey is very useful because I'm going to want to use Fly later to get from place to place. So that works perfectly. And now what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to deposit Bulbasaur in the box. And I'm going to heal Pidgey. And the reason for this is because I'm going to actually want to intentionally get myself to black out and come back to this Pokemon Center. So I want Bulbasaur's PP to stay exactly where it is because I'm going to need to use this glitch multiple times. And in Red and Blue, for whatever reason, in the box, your Pokemon doesn't get healed. It just keeps its amount of PP. Now I'm going to be setting up the most used glitch in this run called Brock Through Walls. So the first part involved putting my cursor over save, and if you hit B out of that guy's dialogue box who tells you about Brock, you can press start in A and B, you just can't move the D-pad. So if your cursor is already over save, you can press A and now you can kind of continue on to the rest of the game. However, you can also talk to him from the right, and if you have a Bulbasaur as your last member of your party, or first, it's my only member, with that amount of PP, you can walk through walls, and this lasts until you go into a building. And we're going to be using this a lot, so don't worry about sort of missing it. You're going to see it a bunch of times. So here I got my Magikarp, and this is the earliest possible spot I can get a Magikarp. Now, I could have just tried to do the run normally from here, but Magikarp only knows Splash, and it'd just take forever to grind up the levels, because it's also part of the slow level up group. So instead, I'm just going to use more glitches and level up Magikarp really quickly. Now, I made a mistake here. I accidentally put Bulbasaur as my party Pokemon instead of Pidgey, so I kind of just edited out the part where I got its PP back to where I needed it to be, but you still need its PP to be at the same spot. So once again, have your cursor hover over save, press B to get out of that guy's dialogue box, press start. It's like a 1-frame window to do that, and then you just soft reset. I messed up, I think I had to do this glitch 6 times. I messed up once, but if you mess up, it's not a big deal. Okay, so once again, you talk to him from the right, and one thing I should mention about this is you got to be very careful not to get too out of bounds. I know sort of where I can and can't go, but if you hit certain blocks out of bounds, you will crash the game. So you don't want to do that. There was a block right around there that does that a lot. So be very careful. Also be very careful not to get into buildings you don't want to be into, because once you enter a building, the glitch ends and your collision is back. So I'm in Saffron City healing because I need Saffron to be my new hub. We're going to be setting up a whole bunch of glitches right now. Actually, here's another, I don't know if it's a glitch, more of an exploit, but you might have noticed the guard let me walk through, even though I don't have the fresh water. Now, because the game doesn't think I can access Saffron yet, it's assuming that I came from Celadon, which isn't true. So they let me go right through, yet they tell me you can't go through, I'm thirsty. I don't know if it's a glitch, because the game is doing what it's supposed to be doing. I'm just in a place I'm not supposed to be. So for one of the most important glitches in this entire run, I'm going to need an Abra. And thankfully, you can buy Abra by getting 180 coins in red version. Now, if I were using blue version, which I wanted to use, but I have some Pokemon that I've had since I was really young on that game. I have my old version of Pokemon Blue. I really don't want to reset it. The battery's still good on it, and I know that won't last forever, but I don't know. I had this version of red that I knew I wouldn't mind resetting, so I used that, but it did end up making this take a little longer. So for whatever reason, I get the 180 coins I need, and I still start looking for coins. I'm not sure why I did that, but it gives me time to talk about what I'm going to be doing next. So once I buy the Abra, and I need to do this in a very specific order, which is why what's it called? I actually made a couple mistakes. You see, there's a lot of bloopers I didn't put in here, where I did things out of order, and it really just wasn't good. So I started kind of getting what I needed to do really down pat, because I made so many mistakes. I actually got 20 extra coins there. So you'll see another mistake I actually show it coming up, because it's an important mistake to show, because it's one that can really be bad if you don't, and it's a way you can easily prevent it too. I call Abra Telly, and you'll see later in the video it's called Abra. That's because I made a mistake and I soft reset it, and the last time I saved was before I had Abra. So I had to do a lot of backtracking. Anyway, I want to go back to Saffron without having to, you know, brock through walls. So I'm buying soda pop and fresh water. I also need to have exactly 6 items. So I made sure I have 6. I do. But in case you don't have 6 for some reason, there is a free item you get right... I'm going to show it off. It's right on the 3rd floor. You can get counter. So you'll have 6 items anyway. I actually sort of forgot of what I was doing. Now, once I have items, you can teleport back to Saffron or you can just walk back. It doesn't really matter. Again, not a speed run. So now that I have the fresh water, I can give it to the guard to drink and I can go to Saffron. Now, from Saffron, I'm going to want to head to
Cerulean,
because my Magikarp's really weak. I'm going to need to level it up. And there's a rare candy in
Cerulean.
So I'm going to go get that rare candy. I know it's just 1, but it helps. So
Cerulean.
it's kind of a one-way trip. This is why we need to get Abra first. I made that mistake where I got Abra second, and that's not a thing you want to do. So the rare candy is a hidden item. It's right here. And once you get the rare candy, I think I'm going to show off how you can't get back to... Am I? Yeah, I think I am. You can see, like, the officer won't move, and you can get out with cut, which I also don't have. So you're kind of stuck. The game doesn't anticipate, you know, you being in the situation. Now, I guess if I really wanted to, I could initiate the rival fight, go up Nugget Bridge, you know, but I don't want to do any of that, so I just teleport back to Saffron. And now is where I set up the most important glitch of this entire run, and this is the one that made the run possible. So I'm going to deposit Bulbasaur because I no longer need it. And, well, I'll need it later, but I don't need it right now. And now I'm ready to do the most important glitch I need to do. And I messed it up the first time. So this glitch is called Trainer Fly. And it works by exploiting the fact that just like with the Brock guy, you have a 1-frame window to save before initiating a trainer battle. And this one you actually can move the cursor. So I screwed up and I soft reset it and it took me way back. So I redid all my progress. I came back here and this time I get the trick down right. I press start and I teleport away. So now the game's really confused. It's like, wait, you're in a Pokemon battle, but you're not in a Pokemon battle. Help, help, help. What battle are you in? I don't know. So we're going to tell the game what battle we're in. We're going to be in a battle with this Machop from this guy. And you have to make sure you approach him from at least 1 space away because the game will soft lock if you don't. So the Machop feints me, oh no, and now the game's like, oh, I know what battle you're in. So I have my rare candy in my 6th item slot, and now Missigno's going to appear. Now, yeah, this is kind of the craziest part of the glitch, and let me explain what happened. So basically, the game, to find out what encounter I was in before, basically looked up the special stat of that Machop, and its special stat corresponded with the index number of Missigno. And Missigno, like always, lets me duplicate items. So I used it for both rare candies and protein, because protein are expensive. And so I'm going to get a Magikarp, not with max attack, but with pretty decent attack at level 100. And that's going to end this section of the video. So in the next video, you'll see me start to slaughter all of the gym leaders with my amazing level 100 Magikarp. Actually, if you deposit it and withdraw it, Magikarp can gain this game's version of EVs. They're called Stat XP, and they work a little differently. In fact, I'll gain enough to get up to 98 attack by the end, so OP as hell. But that's all for this part of the video. Thank you for watching. Take care.